Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, global markets reporter at Nasdaq, with daily insight on the Nasdaq-100 index, or the NDX, which is made up of 100 of the largest domestic and international non-financial innovative companies listed right here on the Nasdaq stock market. The NDX has been the barometer for U.S. large cap growth and also one of the best performing indexes over the last decade and a half, not to mention one of the most liquid index ecosystems in the world. Joining me is Joyce, Managing Director with Nasdaq's Market Intelligence Desk, for an update on technical levels to watch in the Nasdaq-100. And Brian, it seems as if we have the same themes continuing from last week. There's just been a lot of chop back and forth. Yeah,
absolutely. We've certainly seen some volatility. Throughout the markets, particularly, in the equity markets, the rates markets, lately, because of that poor auction that we had in late February, investors seem to be very focused on what interest rates are doing. They've had a big run higher. Yesterday we had a 10-year auction, and today we had a 30-year auction. A lot of eyes were on both those auctions to see how well the bidding would be, and they've come in, relatively well. So particularly compared to last February. So. And we also had the passing of the 1.9 stimulus package. So the equity market is seeming to like that.
Yeah, they certainly do. And I feel like, especially when it comes to equities, not too much good news, not too much bad news, and something in between will kind of keep them from having a tantrum one way or the other, because of course everyone's concerned about overstimulating the economy. But Brian, let's pull up a chart on the Nasdaq-100 just to see how it has been reacting specifically.
So here we go. So this here is actually a zoomed in hourly chart of the Nasdaq-100. And so we've had a pullback of about 12% high to low from mid-February to last Thursday and Friday, to Friday's low. What I like here today is what we're seeing is that this trend line connecting the relief rallies on the downside. Even yesterday we came right up to it and then pulled back, but today we broke out above it right there on the open. And we're moving higher. The NDX is the top performing index today. So this is a potential sign that there's declining downtrend, albeit relative to the bigger picture here. We're certainly in the longer term uptrend, but the declining trend downtrend over the last month or so, we have broken out from that declining line, and so we could be in the early stages of the bigger move, which is to the upside. So I would say going forward here, what I want to look at above us is any potential levels of resistance. And what I have highlighted here are the 20 and 50-day moving averages. You can see on much of the way up off the lows of 2020, the blue line, the 20-day moving average, did act as a reliable support line on many occasions on the minor pullbacks throughout that uptrend. So now that we're coming from the underside, we want to look to see at that 20-day, which now coincides with the 50-day, as potential resistance. So I'd like to see the index get back above here to to feel more confident that the declining trend line is now complete. If we look at the weekly chart, we can see that this week's candlestick is almost forming a bullish engulfing pattern versus last week. So we're just about there. We still have the rest of today and tomorrow to go, so we'll wait and see how this shapes out. But overall, I think things look pretty good right now.
Yeah, and Brian, I know you take a look at the RSI, and it's at 50 right now, which is kind of within the sweet spot, not too low, not too high. So if in fact we do get a move higher, it doesn't look like we're in any sort of overbought territory, if I understand it correctly.
Yeah, no, definitely not for the NDX. The weekly RSI, it bottomed just a little bit below the prior low back from late October, but still definitely within that bullish range. If we look at the daily RSI, as you noted, it is at 50. This is the midpoint. Now we are coming from lower levels, but certainly far from overbought for the members and the constituents of the Nasdaq-100 and the overall index.
Look at that. Your technical expertise is paying off. I'm learning something new every day. Brian, thanks for joining us on Trade Talks. And thanks for joining me. I'm Jill Malandrino, global markets reporter at Nasdaq.